Alright, more Commander action. And this time, it's Omnath. Yay! Mono green. It's been a little while since I played this deck. This game was played also early April, I think, the day after the last one. And yeah, it was just on a bit of an Omnath bender. I think I'd gotten a little bit tired of playing a bunch of blue decks and decided to go and give this deck a spin. It's obviously, it's not a tier 1 design. It's probably right at the very top of tier 2, but it's probably among the decks that I have in my entire stable of Commander decks. I find the Omnath deck is pretty much the most fun deck to play, although this is not a fun opening hand right here. Obviously, this is an insta-mulligan, given the fact that it's got a 9-drop and a 5 and a 4 and 2 3s and only 1 land. So I'm going to ship this right back. My opponent is playing Uril the Miststalker. Don't see this guy very often, actually extremely problematic for commander decks, or I'm sorry, for control decks, given the fact that he is super, super dangerous and has hexproof. The fact that it does cost 5 means you can often keep it out of play, but if it does resolve, control decks, like particularly the ones that I play, which don't run a lot of opponent must sacrifice effects, tend to really struggle against Uril. So really without counter magic, you're kind of a sitting duck. And of course, Omnath, by nature of the fact that it's mono green, doesn't really have any way to stop creatures from coming into play, short of land destruction, which is often just sort of my go-to game plan against decks that have really problematic 5 and 6 casting cost commanders. But I'm going to have to ship this hand back and hope for something better. See what it yields. Ooh, wow. You want to talk about something better. Jesus, look at this hand. All right, so Derogatory Speaker, Harmonize, Ancient Tomb, Karn, Soul Ring, Forest, 3 visits. Pretty much a perfect hand, minus the 1 card I have to throw away. And the question is, what do you throw away here? And looking at the hand, I legit made it just a stupid mistake. I'm thinking, okay, well, Uril, I need to just ramp up into mana. I need to be able to cast this Harmonize and put pressure on. And that means that probably the 7-drop in my hand is not that good. But if you look at my hand, I've got a 2-thing, a 2-thing, a 2-thing, and a Forest. I can play a Karn Liberated on turn 4 with the way this draw is, provided he doesn't disrupt me at all. And Karn Liberated probably is enough to handle Uril, just by nature of being able to kill off key mana things. And you can even use Karn Liberated to destroy the enchantments that they try to throw on Uril. It has hexproof, but the enchantments on it don't. So I think a huge mistake, actually, to throw the Karn back. I should have just put 3 visits on the bottom, but instead I clicked on Karn and pretty much regretted it the moment that I did, particularly going first too. I mean, I could conceivably just have the Karn out before he's even really has a foothold in the game and just start destroying his mana and then eating his hand up, and he'd never even have to kill or cast Uril. That is definitely one way to prevent the creature from ever being a problem, is just prevent him from ever casting it. So I have to sit here and sheepishly play my Jiraga and think, oh shit, what did I just do? Well, I better draw something good off of Harmonize, because otherwise I'm going to look real foolish if he's able to ramp up into his Uril by turn 4. And he's got a very odd picture of Command Tower, one I've never seen before. All right, let's see what we get here. Thran Dynamo, just to further make me feel foolish about putting the Karn Liberated away. All right, I could have just done everything here. It would have been so delicious. I could have just, well, anyway, I can play all this stuff. I mean, look at this. This is just totally insane. Imagine if I have a 7-drop Planeswalker on turn 2 that can just gobble his mana sources up. He would never, ever have a chance here. I mean, this is just insane. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 mana on turn 2. Okay. Oh, well. Again, Harmonize. I'm just going to count on you to deliver the goods. I guess I could just play Omnath and hope to just bash him to death with it before his guy gets online. He's got a Bloom Tender. Really cool creature. This thing is just extremely underplayed as a card, and it's so good in Uril. Just the ability, or really any 3-color or better deck, even a 2-color deck, honestly. It's just incredible. Like, you can just see from Derogatory Speaker, Soul Ring style creatures are amazing, and this thing can frequently make 3 or 4 mana depending on the commander. It's really, really top-notch creature. And Llanowar Tribe. Well, it's basically 3 mana, 3 green mana Gilded Lotus, but I'm now really, really concerned about Uril coming down either next turn or the turn afterward. If he's got Ancient Tomb, he's going to be able to play this, play the Uril next turn. So as much as I'd like to play the Llanowar Tribe, I just don't have that kind of time. So I'm going to 3 visits here, get some green mana, and use that to cast Harmonize. I'm not even really worried about it. I got Omnath as a backup plan, but we'll see what the Harmonize yields. And yes, Steel Hellkite, one of the few cards in this deck that has good interactivity with hexproof permanents. And by nature of the fact that I have a land and all these 2 mana things, I can actually just play the Hellkite right now. And without hesitation, I'm just going to preempt his Uril with a Steel Hellkite, which should be able to control it. And in my experience, these Uril decks because they do need a critical mass of things to throw on their commander, either equipment or enchantments, or both. They don't tend to play a lot of reactive cards. They're kind of just trying to go Voltron. So I figure that Steel Hellkite may have a good chance of just wrapping this game up right now. We'll see how it goes. Just need one hit, and sure enough, God, Ancient Tomb, full punish. But of course, he can't play Uril right now because if he plays Uril, I'll just run the Steel Hellkite and kill it, and then he'll be unable to cast it for ages. And he plays the new Bloom Tender, the Fabro Elder. This is printed a little while ago, and it's kind of just like a strict upgrade over Bloom Tender, except for the fact that it does cost green and white and 3 mana total, but very, very powerful, can get quite large as well, and of course has the same mana production ability. So these two feed off each other as well, and unfortunately, one of the last cards in his hand is Swords to Plowshares, which is a perfect answer to Steel Hellkite. Gets rid of it forever. There's no even getting it back with the survival into Eternal Witness, so I'm sad. All right, I got to just draw something that kills all of the stuff, but I have a plan, and we'll see how it goes. I do have so much mana production here, right? I've got 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is more than enough mana to do what I need to do next turn. I draw Gilded Lotus. And I would love to cast Gilded Lotus here, but unfortunately I'm just 1 mana short of being able to do that. Everything else I need to do. So I'm going to use Survival of the Fittest, throw away my other Gilded Lotus, and I'm going to get the Terastodon. Yeah, unfortunately the Void Winnower, which I could have played, you see I'm 1 mana short from also being able to cast the Gilded Lotus and then use the Gilded Lotus to do the Terastodon, but because it's -2 mana. But yeah, I had enough mana to actually fetch Void Winnower and cast it, but unfortunately the Uril is a 5 mana thing, and so the Void Winnower is not going to really stop it. But I figured Terastodon's going to come down. He can make green-white out of this, and he can make green-white out of this, but that means that in those last 3 cards in his hand, he's got to have red mana. So I'm gambling here that he doesn't have any red, and I should be okay. Come on, deck. Well, let's see what the Champion of Thune does. 4 cards. No red, no red, no red. No red, no red. Damn it. That's a plateau. That makes red. All right. I'm going to be facing down Uril the Miststalker after all. After all that trouble and all that LD, what do I have to show for it? But he's got his hexproof guy in play, and I just have to hope that, with 3 mana in play, he doesn't have the ability to do anything. But with Survival of the Fittest in my hand, I can probably, well, there's a lot of different options here. If I draw a creature, most likely I'll play Omnath, and I'll probably go get the Regal Force, figuring that a draw 4 would be really good. The other option would be to, if I draw any creature, I can go get the Kozilek Butcher of Truth and draw 4 cards off that, and then if I can get 1 attack in with Kozilek, it may shut him down to the point where he's not able to offer any more resistance. And unfortunately, I just get a Wooded Foothills, and even though this can go get Dryad Arbor, it can't put it into my hand, so I'm suddenly feeling really nervous here. I mean, you don't really know what the opponent's got in their hand, but if he's able to give Uril, like throw a Sword of Feast and Famine on this, or anything that can give it the ability, a lot of time people just play stuff that gives protection from creatures, or protection from a particular type of color, Flickering Ward or whatever, and suddenly you just can't block it, and you're just dead before you can even do anything. And now I'm suddenly in that position. As powerful as my start was, it's just this problem with mono green. You just can't interact with things short of their lands. And I did kill a lot of mana, but not looking like enough. He's got another land. All right. Open the armory. Oh, boy. Shield of the Oversoul is what he decides to get. As long as enchanted creature is green, it gets +1/+1 and indestructible. That's not a problem, because I got plenty of time to chump block. Plus, I can just make Omnath so large it can block Uril all day. But there's the other one. As long as the enchanted creature is white, it gets +1/+1 and has flying. So it gets +2/+2, +2/+2, because of its own ability, and flying and indestructible. That's a 9/9 untargetable flying indestructible creature against mono green. I am fucked. All right, so what exactly do I do here, right? If he puts 1 more enchantment on that, I'm just dead next turn, because it'll be 11/11. He's still got 2 cards in hand. Oh, God, okay. We have basically one turn to draw anything here, or that's going to be a big loss for the Omnath deck, and I'm going to feel foolish as hell for throwing away that Karn. Come on, deck. Deliver the goods. Cross fingers. Unreal. So lucky. Ugin. Of all things, too. I mean, really, how many things do I have in the deck that could actually get me out of this bind? I do have Mindslaver, and if I had Mindslaver, I could potentially, I guess I could have drawn Regrowth or any one of the sack to draw effects to, and draw at least 10 cards off of Omnath, maybe even more. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Yeah, I could have, if I had drawn any of the sack to draw effects, I could have drawn about 12 or 13 cards. And like either the Greater Good or the Life's Legacy or the Garrick. And that might have gotten me out of this, but shit, you don't even need to draw extra cards when your deck just top decks the perfect answer. So he does have 2 mana in play, untapped. I could fool around with just sending in Omnath and various shenanigans, but there's no reason to take any risk at all. Here, I'm just going to use this thing since it's going to die anyway. Down comes Ugin, and without any hesitation, I'm just going to do this Ugin's ability for 5 and just cleanse the board of everything but the big elephant. And he sacks Horizon Canopy, which is a little surprising to me. I'm not sure why he would do that, given that going down to 1 land when the whole board is getting wiped doesn't seem real smart to me, but maybe he did have a specific reason for it. All right, and that would have been sick. I think that there probably are some cards that he could have had in hand right there that cost 2 mana that would have given his guys... Actually, I guess it doesn't even matter to make them indestructible. Yeah, it's just exile. There's nothing you could do to stop that. And the elephant stands alone, and I even can just recast Omnath trivially off generic mana. Now smash in for 9 here. I'm just going to hold the Wooded Foothills. He's got Scalding Tarn, but that's it. Just float a bunch of green at the end of the turn. I probably should have just played the Wooded Foothills. I'm not sure what I was thinking there. Could definitely get an extra green mana, and that would have pumped this thing up to 8/8. And in fact, so I'm going to bolt him for 3. So his opponents can't cast spells this turn. It's quite okay. I don't have anything to do. God, imagine if he had had Silence there and he didn't cast it on me the turn I drew Ugin. That would have been so sick. He just silences me. I think he probably drew it over the last 2 draw steps, actually. He would have silenced me. I couldn't have played the Ugin, and then he just enchants the Uril and kills me. That would have been an amazing play. And he's got Force of Vigor in his hand. Sigh. Oh, well, I'll just have to Lotus on the way out. Only getting 9 green mana. I've got 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it's not enough damage to kill him either way, actually. Yeah. So if I had played this Wooded Foothills last turn, this thing would be an 11/11 right now. Plus I could tap for 4 more, so it'd be 15/15. That's 24. Yeah, he'd still be at 1, so I couldn't quite kill him off. Just gonna go get a forest. He's got 0 cards in hand. Not too many outs for my my opponent here. He goes down to 2. All right, good luck, Champion of Thune. Time to top deck Balance, and then somehow also kill Ugin. And yeah. 1 card does not solve his problems. And I'm just going to cast the Regal Force here, just because I want to see what I could draw, given he's got 1 card in hand. I got Strip Mine too. Pretty brutal. I'm just going to bolt him with Ugin to put him out of his misery. But damn, breathe a sigh of relief. I have some seriously close games with this Omnath deck. It's one of the reasons why it's so fun and exciting to play. It just has a lot of cool contested games where it does kind of sometimes come down to a single top deck about whether or not you win or lose. But the streak continues. And glad you guys got to see that one. Very, very exciting game. My heart was racing by mid-game, and that's kind of what you live for when you play Magic. Hopefully the next one is just as exciting, and I will see you over there soon. Take care.